Hello, everybody. Tate Davis here with another album ranking for you. Today, I'm going to be doing the discography of the MC5, all three albums of theirs. I'm going to include. I normally don't include live albums in these album ranking videos that I do, but for purposes of the MC5, I'm going to go ahead and do it because without the Kick Out the Jams live album, they only have two studio albums, and their live album is kind of their debut album, as you know, is kind of seen there as their official debut by the mainstream. So you know what, I'm going to include it here. And I will preface this by saying that this was very difficult for me to do because I love all three albums. The MC5, in my opinion, don't have a bad album in any way, shape, or form. They're definitely one of my favorite bands from the 60s. Very influential on both punk and heavy metal, along with the likes of Iggy Pop and the Stooges. I like the MC5 better than the Stooges, but I still like the Stooges quite a bit. Of course, all three albums feature the lineup of Rob Tyner on lead vocals, Wayne Kramer on guitar on lead guitar, Fred Sonic Smith on lead guitar and vocals. Wayne Kramer also sang too, and Michael Davis on bass, and Dennis Thompson, his nickname Machine Gun Thompson, on drums. Great drummer, and yeah, they kind of came out of Detroit. Were briefly affiliated with the Black Panther Party and had notable activist John Sinclair as their manager at one point before they kind of severed ties with him. So, when it comes down to ranking their discography, coming in at number 3, again, a great album, I love it quite a bit, is their third studio album that came out in 1971 called High Time. This saw the band sort of experimenting with different sounds, and maybe a little bit was inspired by the likes of maybe what the Beatles were doing late in their career with Revolver, Sgt. Pepper, and onwards. Stuff like that. Very experimental album. Maybe some of what the Velvet Underground were doing early in their career with the Velvet Underground and Nico and White Light, White Heat. I still love it, but it's still got that MC5 sound that we know and love, that proto-punk sound. You got tunes on there like Sister Ann, which I think is really good. Most of it's a hard rockin' 12-bar blues, 1950s inspired tune. But at the end of it, you got kind of like a brass band thing, which is pretty fun. You got Future/Now, which I think is a great song, one of my favorite MC5 tunes. That's got a great bass line by Michael Davis. It's half rocker, half kind of free jazz thing that Wayne Kramer and Fred Sonic Smith were really into at the time. I think they're were the influence of like latter day John Coltrane and Sun Ra and everybody, and maybe Cecil Taylor too, were kind of worming their way into the influences at that time. What else you got on there? You got Over and Over, which is a great tune. Just a very great way to kind of end out the career of the MC5. So that's number 3 coming in, is High Time from 1971. So coming in at number 2, a very short album, only clocking in at about 28 minutes, is Back in the USA. When I first heard that album, I was like, well, where's the rest of it? Because it clocks in at like 28 minutes. It should be considered an EP from just the length of it alone, but they squeeze in the average song length on that album is like 1.5, 2 minutes or something like that. But still, a bunch of great MC5 classics on there. You got High School. You got I'm an Animal. You got the great take on Chuck Berry's version of their great take on the Chuck Berry classic Back in the USA. You got their great take on Tutti Frutti. You got their the ever so amazing anti-Vietnam War, the Human Being Lawnmowers, featuring some great drumming by Dennis Thompson. Just overall, a very strong album, just too short. But for me, it's pretty much all killer, no filler, and I'm fine with it being short. Better to have 28 minutes of nothing but bangers than, 45 minutes of some bangers and then some kind of throwaway tunes, right? Yeah, in my opinion. And then coming in at number one, obviously, is their live album, Kick Out the Jams, from 1969. It was recorded at the Grandy Ballroom in Detroit, and I think it was Halloween of 1968 or late 1960, or maybe just New Year's Eve. I think it was New Year's Eve of 1968. They're the great introduction by John Sinclair, and then, the first chords of Ramblin' Rose, and then the falsetto lead vocal by Wayne Kramer. Love is like a Ramblin' Rose. Just amazing. You got the classic title track, Rocket Producer number 62, Come Together, Borderline, another great tune there. Their great version of the John Lee Hooker tune, Motor City is Burning, and just overall spectacular live album, very influential live album, an album that many bands who followed in the MC5's wake owe a debt to if they're kind of like a punky band or, a grunge band or a pop punk band, in my humble opinion. But overall, the MC5, pretty much a flawless discography of only 3 albums, but a great band from Detroit. And if you're looking for a good place to start with Kick Out the Jams, in my opinion. It's a great introduction to them. And then if you like that, go investigate their studio stuff. So with that, thank you guys very much for watching, and we'll see you later with more content. Bye-bye.